I am so excited to talk to you today about what you can do to protect yourself to legally never have to pay out of pocket for air ambulance again, why the bleep air ambulances are so expensive, and how the clash of the titans where the healthcare industry and the insurance industry fight, and then you end up getting caught in the middle and what to do. So without further ado, let me share my screen here. Let me get rid of this thing. All right. So again, ambulance coverage, how to legally never pay out of pocket for emergency transportation and so much more. So 46% of bankruptcies are due to medical bills. And air ambulance costs are very much so on the rise. In 2022, there was a No Surprise Bill Act. So I don't know if you guys remember the days of you having to get a surgery. You go to the hospital, you say, hey, how much is this surgery going to cost with this insurance? And they go, oh, it's going to be $600. And then you get the surgery done, and they go, oh, we had no idea the anesthesiologist was out of network, and you get stuck with a extra $2,000 bill. Those days are gone. However, ambulances are exempt from that, and the costs are just escalating. A little bit about me. My name is Tim. I live where I park it. I'm a full-time RVer. I'm licensed in all 50 states plus DC. So I figured me and the family might as well go see them. So I've been an insurance broker. I focus on retirees with Medicare, life insurance, long-term care, the tax-deferred asset protections. But I'm super excited to talk to you about the my favorite major medical add-on for emergency transportation for anybody over the age of 18, younger than age 18 if your parents are covered. But spoiler alert, the cards are stacked against you. I have a beautiful wife. I've got two amazing kids, and I have the world's most okayest dog. She is sweet as honey, but she is super duper timid. The two quotes I try to live by, just so you get a picture of who I am, is those with good intentions make promises, those with good character keep them. And I try to show that I have character, not just intentions. And then this is a big one. I'm far from perfect, but something I strive for every day is I try to live my life so that those that know me but don't know Christ want to know Christ simply because they know me. First thing I want to do is, as a thank you for watching this video, I want to give you a free membership to ASBA, or American Senior Benefits Association. Best way I can describe it, it's like a non-politically affiliated AARP. So it's a wonderful discount program, great knowledge, or information that they give out. And you get the passport program. Most Fortune 500 gives the passport program to their employees to keep them happy. Great benefits. So you can go to the website, the myambadiscounts.com. Click register here, and then AMBA Savers, plural, is your activation code. You get that free discount program, or you can download the passport on your phone through Apple or Android. Again, AMBA Savers, plural, is the code in order for the activation. And I'll tell you why that's important later. So in order to fully appreciate the solution, I want you to fully comprehend how bad the problem is. So if you have insurance, why wouldn't ambulances be covered? Well, the truth is Medicare language is very tricky. And most insurances pay the usual and customary charges, which are about 10 years old. And with inflation, it's going up so much. And then even on Medicare's website, they have a bullet point that says what to do if Medicare doesn't cover the ambulance service. It's pretty much telling you that they're not going to cover the ambulance service, by the way. Currently in the United States, we have been in a healthcare crisis for some time. There's 6 different healthcare insurances. There's Medicare, VA, Veterans Affairs, TRICARE, the Unaffordable Care Act, Medicaid, and then private insurance through work. So 5 out of the 6 are government owned. They constantly borrow money from each other, and they're all saying they're underfunded. So they're going to do one of two things. They're going to deny claims or reduce benefits. So they do not always fully cover emergency transportation costs. How many emergency transportation are dispatched? 28 million ground ambulances. That's nearly 1 a second. 550,000 air ambulances. That's nearly 1 per minute. And these are some estimated cost of ground ambulances. You can see that they are just escalating beyond belief. Medicare or private insurance may deny your insurance. And if you're denied, you can get stuck with the entire bill. And air ambulance bills are, oh my goodness, expensive. I will tell you a little bit more about that in a little bit. But the reasons that usually it's either the benefits were not coordinated correctly, you didn't get prior authorization, which I don't know how you can get prior authorization for an emergency, or it was deemed simply just not medically necessary. And even if insurance pays, look at this, air ambulance on the left-hand side, $35,000 was paid, that's great, but still have $3,100 out of pocket. That's a big chunk of change. Or for a ground ambulance, they pay the usual and customary charges of $1,200, leaving $4,800 left over. And if there's an emergency, I'm sure you guys have heard of the golden hour, which is the hour immediately following a traumatic injury, which medical treatment is necessary in order to prevent irreversible internal damage and optimize the chance of survival is the most effective. I did not interrupt this for an ATT commercial. This is actually, the pink areas are where it is physically impossible to get to a level 1 trauma within 1 hour without an air ambulance. You can see that it's very heavily open in the West. Here is a map of the level 1 traumas. Level 1 traumas are where you're going to want to be. So really the greater need is getting to the right hospital on time. And so with this, hospitals have been closing in areas, but 1 out of 7 ground ambulance are actually denied by major medical. And then air ambulances, this is the craziest thing, is due to the Deregulation Act of 1978, the air ambulances are actually not classified as a medical expense. They're actually classified as a common carrier. That makes the only governing body the FAA that oversees them, and 39% of air ambulances are denied by major medical. The good news is, now that I've shared how big and complicated the problem is, it's a very, very simple solution. And that is MASA. MASA stands for Medical Air Services Association, A+ rated with a Better Business Bureau. They've been doing this since before the Deregulation Act of 1978, and they started doing this in 1974. And they have great, 4.9 stars on Google, 4.8 on Facebook. They've been protecting people. MASA, in my mind, at 100% is a must-have. MASA covers the emergency transportation costs that your primary insurance doesn't. So you'll never be afraid to call for an ambulance. You can go from bills like this where it shows denied to bills like this that are paid by MASA 100%. So MASA will pay for the remaining co-pays, they'll pay deductibles that you owe, or they'll even cover you even if they deny. And so MASA covers every ambulance provider in the United States, in Canada. There is no in-network, there is no out-of-network. It pays, you have no out-of-pocket, no out-of-pocket fees. So how MASA works is that if you have a medical emergency, you call 911. 911 comes, takes you, then you receive a bill, then you take that bill, you send it over to MASA. MASA has you covered. You don't have to worry about a thing. And now there are some competitors out there. MASA, has the check marks by them all. The FMA Assist, the Federal Motor Coach Assist, they only cover hospital-to-hospital transport by ambulance. They do not cover you from the scene of the accident in the hospital. Same thing for MedJet, Good Sam, or EA+. SkyMed does cover from the scene of the accident. However, in the fine print, it does say that it has to be initiated by a licensed physician. I don't know any first responders that are licensed physicians, and whenever I did call them on that, they were not very responsive with the answer. These are all the benefits that MASA gives. I'm going to go over and break them down one by one. So air ambulance, this covers any air ambulance. This is worldwide coverage as well, anywhere but Antarctica. You are automatically covered anywhere in the United States, Mexico, Canada, or the Caribbean without having to let MASA know. However, if you do go over to Europe, or like my dad just went to Australia this year, you do have to let MASA know your itinerary 14 days prior to, just so they can have a plan in place. But air ambulances are covered, hospital-to-hospital ambulances or fixed-wing ambulances or ground ambulances are covered as well. Ground ambulances are covered. They also do organ retrieval or organ recipient transportation, so they'll take you to the organ or the organ to you. They do repatriation towards a hospital near you. So if you're hospitalized more than 100 miles away from home, you want to get closer to home, MASA will cover the cost of that. Companion transportation in the event of an air or a ground ambulance, space permitting, they'll allow the healthy spouse or healthy companion to travel with them. However, that is space permitting. Hospital visitor transportation. So if this is a family plan and somebody is, say more than 100 miles away from home. So if they're based in Arizona and they're up in Chicago and they're hospitalized, and it's going to be hospitalized for more than 7 days, MASA will pay for a round trip commercial flight to have a spouse or a friend or a family member round trip go visit them in the hospital in Chicago. Vehicle RV return. So this is very popular amongst the RVer community, is that this, if a medical event happens more than 100 miles away from home and Massa flies you back to your house, Massa will hire a commercial, a professional driver, or have the vehicle towed to get back to your house. Minor transportation. I always use Disney World as the example. If you take the grandkids to Disney World and you buy lunch and you look at the receipt and you have a heart attack and you just realize how much lunch cost on top of the outrageous price of the tickets, not only will Massa, rather than just paying a $20 bill to the kid's collar and wishing them the best of luck, not only would Massa fly them anywhere in the country, but they would also hire a qualified attendant to fly with them so they're not alone. Mortal remains transportation. I didn't see the value in this until February of 2020. I had a client die in Los Angeles that was based in Phoenix. It cost $11,000 to get the body from Los Angeles to Phoenix, which is, 356 miles, just outrageous cost. And then patient return transportation. So if you're hospitalized, again, say you're based in Arizona, you go up to Chicago, you get hospitalized, you get released from the hospital with a clear, medically cleared to fly. Massa will pay for your commercial flight to get back home to Arizona as well. The pet return, that's the same as the minor. They would actually cover ground or a flight for the four-legged, the fur babies, and then also a higher qualified attendant to fly with them. These are some brand new benefits. These are actually absolutely awesome. So grandchildren and great-grandchildren transportation. So this would cover any ground ambulance for any of your grandchildren or great-grandchildren up to age 14. This plan was brand new for 2023. I know it's 2024, but last January, I wrote a couple in Texas. I wrote them on a Thursday. Saturday, they start calling me going, hey, is this coverage go into effect yet? I said, yes. They go, great. My grandson broke his leg in soccer up in Tennessee. We're not with him. Is he covered? And I said, yeah, we should be. So we forwarded all the bills. Massa covered the $4,000 ground ambulance, which satisfied the $2,500 family deductible. Those clients were just as happy as could be because it just saved them a ton of money for the ground ambulance. This does cover COVID quarantine expense. So this is for international travel up to $5,000 if you test positive and you have to be quarantined, to help offset the cost of the hotel or offset the cost of any food from, DoorDash or any room services that you have, since you can't leave the hotel room at all. Medical payment advisor. Sometimes in the, an event, you have an emergency, call 911. A ground ambulance will pick you up. They'll bring you to the nearest geographical hospital. If that hospital is not equipped to cover you, you're going to have to sign an ABN form, or advanced beneficiary notice of non-payment, making you 100% financially responsible for that air ambulance, and they're going to fly you to an appropriate facility. So you might have ground ambulance, emergency room, air ambulance, emergency room, surgery, anesthesiologist, all these bills piling up. You can compile them and schedule a meeting with a medical payment advisor to go over line by line to make sure that these are covered in the most cost-effective way possible. Private room or semi-private to private room upgrade. This will pay up to $1,500 to help upgrade you. So, during COVID or disease X or whatever is the next big thing that you don't want to get, exposed to, you can help create some separation there. And then this also does non-emergency transportation. This would be from hospital to rehab, hospital to skilled nursing, hospital to long-term care facility, or hospital to home. This does not cover non-emergency transportation from your home to a doctor's appointment or something like that. But once you've been to the hospital, if you still need to be in a hospital bed to be taken to your house, this will pay up to $500 to have that covered. And then extended hospital stay incidentals. So if somebody's hospitalized more than 100 miles away from home for an extended, 7 days or more, Massa would reimburse up to $500 for hotel costs, for food, for transportation costs, things of that nature. And then companion return transportation as well. So again, last minute flights can be expensive. If the husband and wife are up in Chicago and they're based in Arizona, husband has a medical event, ends up in the hospital, both husband and wife are going to miss their flight. Massa will reschedule the flight for both of them, which can be quite a cost savings there. So with Massa, if you go directly to Massa to try to get a single plan, it's $52 a month. Again, that ASBA membership that I gave you right at the beginning gets it to you for $39. $62, again, for the family plan. This would be husband, wife, any legal dependents up to age 26 can be included in a family plan. No limit to the number of children. And that would be 62 going directly to Massa with a $60 application fee. Your price with me is 49. I do waive the application fee in every state I can, which would be all except for Wyoming. Unfortunately, I can't waive it there. There is no real monthly or annual one. There's the monthly at $39 or $49, but you could do a 5 year. So one payment covers you for 5 years. It's about 4.5 years worth of premium. So it'd be $2,160 for an individual or $2,700 for the family. Or if you are over the age 50, you can get the lifetime membership. It would be $39 for a single person or $4,900 for a husband and wife over age 50. And then this actually has some extra benefits. You do have access to a travel advisor. This is a big fan, or I had a lot of fans of this during COVID. I had a client that was a scuba diver. This way he could kind of find out what to expect once boots were in the ground as far as mask mandates and stuff like that in certain states. They'd also do a physician search along your route if you're traveling internationally. Emergency relay. So again, my dad was in Australia. If something happened, he would get some relayed information, which may be a little tough to do out in the bush. They could help find an attorney in your area, do translation services, have foreign currency emergency cash advance, have access to a 24-hour nurses hotline, travel concierge to help really kind of, get things moving smoothly for you. And then you give a really nice medical ID bracelet. So those days of old where, men, your arm hair will get caught and just ripped off like you're getting waxed or something like that. It's a hypoallergenic rubber band. And it also has a QR code that anybody that has a smartphone can take out the camera, pull up a secure website that you control the information that's on there as far as who you are, emergency contact person, any medications you're allergic to, medical conditions, insurance information. You really have a lot of control of what goes on that. But I just want to thank you so much for your time today. That is the website. That is my phone number. That is my email address. You can use your camera on your phone to pull up the QR code in order to reach me as well. But I would absolutely love to help you get this coverage because I think it is that important. But thank you for your time and God bless.